On your left.
That is the sound of nostalgia. It's addicting, and it continues to sell tickets. This is the 50 highest grossing movies of all time, and 80% of these were released in the last 12 years alone. Of that 80%, only 4 movies were original stories. The rest were reboots, sequels, or spin-offs, all profiting off the nostalgia of seeing your favorite characters again. Even adjusting for inflation, 20% of the top 10 films were sequels. With the recent threat of movie theaters dying, nostalgia, or franchises like Marvel, have kept them alive. So it's abundantly clear they're saving cinema, right?
Look at it. Open it up. Open it up. Quicker, come on. Huh? Look at Bingo!
This is It's a Mad, Mad World, which released in 1963, the same year this guy built the first US multiplex theater, a theater with more than one screen. Before then, theaters only had one screen, but Durwood knew he could bring a wider audience by doubling this and screening 2 movies at a time. This strategy worked, and soon every theater in the US started becoming multiplex theaters. Cinemas were booming. But during the mid-2010s, things started changing when streaming services swooped in, and in 2017, Bloomberg reported the lowest theater admissions in over 20 years. Movie theaters were said to be dying from streaming, and that takes us back here. 2018 and 2019 saw films like Avengers, Black Panther, Incredibles 2, and Ready Player One all find major success. We even saw Endgame briefly become the highest grossing movie of all time. But in 2020,
now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus.
Global health emergency.
The novel coronavirus.
COVID-19.
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 COVID-19 brought us back on all the progress we made. Theaters across the globe started filing for bankruptcy and closing at an unprecedented rate. It was devastating. And again, to stay afloat, theaters started relying on nostalgia, re-releasing classics like Lord of the Rings, Rocky, Indiana Jones. And today, in the midst of the pandemic, Spider-Man No Way Home, which story is founded on nostalgia, is setting records and once again saving movie theaters. But at what cost? Has nostalgia really saved cinema? Or did it just help the rich get richer? In my previous video, I talked about how director James Cameron sold the rights to Terminator for $1 US. The studio funded his film, and that dollar innovated visual effects and later allowed James Cameron to completely change the way movies are made with Titanic and Avatar. That risk altered the course of cinematic history and innovation. In contrast, Disney bought Fox for $71.3 billion with a B, just to bring back old characters and continue storylines we have seen countless times. The original Star Wars cost the equivalent of $50 million. Disney could have literally made 1,426 of those with the price of Fox alone. Imagine the original stories and worlds they could have created with that money. Spider-Man No Way Home is a perfect example of this. While people flock to see the same characters they have seen for 20 years, original films like Tragedy of Macbeth and Licorice Pizza are swept under the dust. Remember that multiplex theater from earlier? What is overlooked is all the small theaters that couldn't afford to expand to multiplex. They ended up getting shut down because people wouldn't go there anymore. Only the rich theaters evolved under the illusion of innovation. Sure, nostalgia is making billions for theaters, but that just means more years of sequels and reboots eating up all the seats that were once originality. And while I think it's ridiculous to say these films aren't cinema, they are. The mass production of these, or rather the mass success, is preventing the potential of original worlds and stories waiting to be seen. Star Wars, Terminator, Avatar, Inception, Lord of the Rings, and many others were made because somebody took a chance on an idea that was ambitious and never done. Even Marvel was about to go bankrupt before putting all their efforts into an ambitious universe. So sure, theaters are here to stay and will be here for a long time, but I can't help but wonder what stories we lost because of it. With that said, I'm gonna go watch Spider-Man for the 5th time. Till next time, and stay original.